Hey guys, I just wanted to make a little post-mortem of the Double Strike Champion League starter that I went. My initial impressions were high, but as I tried pushing into harder and harder T16s, tried doing the new T17 mods on the T16 maps, tried killing mercs, ran into a lot of problems. It's probably possible to fix these. I wasn't going to spend any more currency on my character. All I really wanted this guy to do was farm up a bit of money and clear the void stones. That was the biggest thing to me. Got all that done. It's just pushing that further with a setup like this seems tough. So first things first, I didn't end up going worthy foe at all. I just got lucky. My helmet has accuracy. My sword has like a tiny bit. I just got good accuracy on my gear pieces and level 20 precision, and that just hit capped me off the bat. So I never really went worthy foe, so I can't tell you how that feels, but it probably feels decent. I just went first to strike, last to fall, which was a pain, honestly. I kept having too much life. So I would hit Corrupting Fever, and it wouldn't give me adrenaline. So I actually unspec'd life nodes to get to a point where Corrupting Fever would give me adrenaline again. And then boss bars would be over your buff bar, so you can't tell if your adrenaline is down. So your adrenaline's not down, and you hit it, and you're half HP in a boss fight. Really clunky. I actually hated that. But the damage is good. It makes the build feel better. Permanent Intimidate is nice. And then Master Metal, of course, Unstoppable Hero. I'll talk about the Fortify in a second. I got some conspiracy theories about this, but whatever. And then Lethal Pride, just as predicted. I got like a 3 fortification one. It was the only one I could find on the market. It was only a divine though. So fortification, fortification, fortification. Yep. So that's just, I thought that would be good. Again, I'll talk about Fortify in a second. Conspiracy theory. And then the tree looks pretty similar to the POBs. The leech here, I experimented with this a bit. I tried taking the whole wheel and the 5% instant leech. Just this node, literally nothing felt different for me. I always felt like I just couldn't leech enough. I think like this up here, the way I believe it to work is that this is like separate leech. It's like claw leech where it's instant. So that might be the solution to that. But yeah, this just always felt kind of bad. Like I wasn't regenning enough health. And so piggybacking on that, I'll go into some of the problems with this build as a whole. So a really big problem with kind of the foundation of what I wanted to do with this character is that replica badge of the Brotherhood does not work the way you would intuitively think it would. Let me pull up replica badge real quick. So replica badge says +1 max fortification per endurance charge. That works as intended. But then it also says here, oh, and also your maximum endurance charge is equal to frenzy charge. Yeah. 25%, 20 to 25% chance to lose an endurance charge when you gain fortification. So our ascendancy clearly states you have your maximum fortification. We don't count as having max fort. We don't pretend to have max fortification. It says we have it. So we should not be able to gain or lose fortification. That was my assumption. I think a lot of people, other people assumed that as well, but that's just not the case. With replica badge, you always are just losing all of your endurance charges, which is a problem because when you lose your endurance charges, you lose your fortification. Ways to circumvent this, like endurance charge on melee stun, but then you'd have to stun reliably, which we don't, in my experience, at least with this damage. This is like a 6 million damage setup, I think, with perfect conditions. So that's one way to fix it. Another way would just be like other methods, like this staff node that I can never find. 10% chance to get an endurance charge on melee crit. That might. But then again, you're gaining fort. I don't know if behind the scenes you cap your fort and then you can get your endurance charges back, but then you can't because then your max goes up and then you gain them again. It's really, really wacky. It can't be the intended way for it to work, but it is the way it works, unfortunately. So apologies to anybody that started this or didn't start this and bought a replica badge under the pretense that it would be really, really good, because it sounds like it would be, and it just doesn't work the way you think it would. So that's really bad. And then we have this little debacle. Celestial Brace pre-release of the league. Let me check real quick. I'm pretty sure on here, Celestial Brace. Is this the wrong boss? That'd be sick. Awesome, it's the wrong boss. All right. Searing Exarch. Okay, so Celestial Brace is on here. 25%. That's what it says, right? For Uber Exarch. So I don't know if nobody's running 17s. They're pretty cheap. They're like 30, 40C in softcore. I don't know if nobody's running it or what, or if the drop rate changed, but holy guacamole, this is expansive. And there's only 12 currently online. There's 15 for trade. That's wild. That is not what I expected. Look at this one. 2 Fortification, 41 Divine. Not worth it at all. This item is very good for the build. It gives us a ton of fortification, and we're not getting it from Replica Badge, so we need to get it from Celestial Brace. There's not a lot of sources of max fortification. Well, this is... What is this? It's Tuesday? It's almost Wednesday? It's 2 a.m.? I'm crazy? So the league's been going for the whole weekend. Everyone's been putting their hours in, and this is the best we can come up with, 41 div for Celestial Brace. This is absurd. So, because these 2 uniques don't exist anymore, the best you can achieve is what I have here on my little character. Is this Lethal Pride plus 3 fortification. So I close the tree. I'm sitting at 29. All right. 29 sounds pretty good. 29% less damage from hits. I purely anecdotally, purely conspiratorially believe that fortification is broken, or at least fortification from champion. This node, so there's a few things. There's a few things I have that lead me to this assumption. I take ass loads of damage from hits. That's just Path of Exile, but it doesn't feel like I'm taking 29% less. I have a Witch and Elementalist now that I'm blasting around with. Things hit me, I go down to half HP. Things hit me on this build, you just die. You fall over. It's like I'm taking 29% more damage from hits. On top of this, my friend is also champion. He doesn't have the Lethal Pride, so he's at 26 fort, which you would think the 29, when we're in close proximity to each other, my 29 would override his 26. That's not the case. His 26 overrode my 29, which is bizarre. I will say that my Merc I've used the same Merc on both characters. It survives, I would say, equally well on both, but that character freezes everything. So I don't know. It could be a huge conspiracy, but it feels terrible. I just die to hits. You especially die to dots, but those hits really, really hurt when they shouldn't. As for the league mechanic, well, a lot of them do dots, which sucks. A lot of them do chaos damage, which I didn't build into, so those guys just ran me over. And then you'll fight like a guy with like frost blades, and he just one-shots you with 29 fortification, 4 endurance charges, capped res, which, you know, it's nothing to... You just die. You just die. You got these flasks up, they're up. Trust me, they're up. Like, I got 43k armor, 49k. It doesn't matter. He's not missing. He's pushing through your evasion. He's gonna hit you. You're dead in one hit. You're back to, you lose 10% XP. Don't pass go, whatever. It sucks. Now, I know a lot of people are having problems with the mercs, so it could just be the mercs, but whatever. I don't know. 29 fortification seems weird. But that's not to say that everything is doom and gloom. I thought the build was fun. The clear lacks like the punch. I would like maybe like Devastator on a Cluster Jewel for some explode, or an Oriath's Flask. Just some explode would help a ton, because when you're clearing, it's a consistent problem that there's like one or two dudes in the pack that just get away, and that's annoying. You don't want that. So that's one thing that I would add to the build going forward, is some source of explode, because the plus strikes and the splash, it just doesn't do it. Maybe plus AoE would do something. I'm not sure. But yeah, I cleared 4 Void Stones, most Atlas completion. Like the build did phenomenal, like not phenomenal, but it did what it was supposed to do. It got me through. T16s felt fine. It's just when you start adding those extra layers, like I was rolling the new memory maps. I was rolling them with transmutes because I'm terrified, and I wouldn't dare put this thing into a T17. But yeah, no, I cleared the voice zones. Tier 16s are fine. There is a little bit of ramp as well because of Impale. So yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan of that. Having to ramp on rares while mapping feels a little clunky. But yeah, overall, for the money, before I bought this chestplate, oh my gosh, this poor chestplate messed me up big time. But before this chestplate, it was very budget, very like easy to get going build. It just capped out pretty early because the uniques we need to scale are non-existent essentially. But yeah, so I spent. Whew. When you look at trade and you see Black Morrigan, your key to a guaranteed 6-link, you see it at 6 divine, you're like, heck nah, I'm gonna 6-link it myself. Well, 6 div later, buying fusings, you don't get it. And then you see Black Morgan on trade a day later is 4 div, you go buy it. You spend 10 div linking your chest plate. Anyway, that's why this video is so late, because I was tilted and I made a new character because of that. But no, pretty good. But going forward, definitely, I have a bunch of things that I would incorporate. First of all, I think Fortify's bugged. If it's not bugged, it doesn't do anything. So hopefully that gets fixed. Or I'm delusional. One of the two. But with Fortification, we apparently need a lot more defensive layers. So I would definitely prioritize suppression capping with these 2 clusters. And then if you don't suppress cap, then grab the Lucky Mastery. I would definitely do that. That is a big change that needs to happen. Which if Fortify's bugged, you can drop this. Look at all that, saving all those points. That's your suppression capped. Huge. Then I would honestly, because of that, left side of the tree, because replica badge doesn't work, left side of the tree is much more appealing now because we get our endurance charges. Versus right side where we're getting our sword stuff. So you'd probably go axes. I am going to maybe make some like fiddle around in Path of Building. And if I find any setups that look more promising than this, I will put them on my GitHub and like edit the description of this video. But yeah, axes seems a lot better because of that. I have seen on PoE Ninja, replica Wings of Entropy is doing pretty good. It seems probably a bit tankier because you have block layers on top, and then you don't need to like come out and grab these nodes over here, because you can just take this node, this node, this node, this node, because you're dual wielding and two-handing at the same time. But personally, I would either go two-handed axe or one-handed axe and shield if the damage is good enough. I don't know yet. A shield with like spell suppression cap would be phenomenal and would fix again, incoming hits. We would still die to dots, but that would be so much better than this setup where it feels like you fall over to a lot of things. I mean, I'm only level 92. Usually I would end my league start at like 94. Because I was falling over. Look, I got 5% XP. I was just falling over like a little fence post. I don't know. But yeah, if I do tinker around and I do find a setup that looks better than two-handed sword, I will definitely put that POB in the description. I liked this character overall. It wasn't a phenomenal league starter, but it was fun. And if you like dual strike, which I never busted out the Vol double strike, or if you like double strike, and I never busted out the Vol double strike because I was a broke boy because I fucked up my chest plate. Then this is a build. It does what it. If you like double strike and you want to go into the league blasting, this'll tide you over for a few days and it'll get you your voice zones. It's not bad. What I'm doing next is I have my witch, which I'm a Blade Vortex slut. So of course we got the BV with explodes and stuff. So that's what I'm doing right now. It's nothing crazy, but I do have some ideas to make this a little bit more non-traditional. Hopefully those pan out. I might make a video. Yeah, my league start's been, it's had its ups, it's had its downs. I took a day off because I was tilted from my chest plate, but overall, I've been having a good time. Mercenaries are kind of cool. New endgame's kind of cool. Hope you guys are having a good time as well. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.